Hey guys, this is Carrie, and in this video we're going to be talking about bold elements, italic elements, and two different kinds of lists. And all of these are going to be examples of nesting in HTML. So I'm going to start off actually with a paragraph copied and pasted from my About Me file, and I've got that paragraph set up in Sublime Text and also set up with my web browser. So the idea with nesting is sometimes you're going to have two tags, like our p tags opening and closing here. And then instead of just having text inside of those tags, you'll actually have some HTML code inside of the paragraph. So the first example we're going to look at is bolding. So I really like rock climbing. And so we might actually, for the rock climbing, want to take a bold, or want to make rock climbing bold. And the way you can make rock climbing bold is you can basically create a B element around rock climbing. And what that B element will do is it will say within this paragraph, this section of the paragraph should be bold. So let's save that, refresh our web browser, and now rock climbing is bold. I know that you guys can pause it and rewind if you want to see that example again, but for one more example, I also really like going on road trips and I want that to be bold. So I'm going to insert a opening tag and closing tag. Oops. Sublime Text is so smart, it does more of it for me than I was anticipating, so that's why I had the extra B, but an opening tag and a closing tag around road trips, and I've got this section bold, but also part of the paragraph. So we save it and we refresh it, and now that's bold. Similarly, you can also make text italic. You might guess that if B is the bold tag, then to mark something as italic, we use I. So I'm going to take my Australian cattle dog, and for kind of no reason at all, maybe I'll just take Sky and I'll make him italic. So I'll start with an opening I tag and I'll put a closing I tag. And now Sky should be italic, and it is. And one more example of that with Frisbee. If we, let's just do Frisbee before the school day starts, that whole thing. So we take an I tag here, it will make this italic all the way up until wherever I stop. So I think we want to stop right here. So closing I tag, and I actually only have to put left angle bracket and then slash, and it auto completes the rest because Sublime Text is so smart. So we'll save it and refresh it, and now that part of the code is italicized. All right, so that was our first example of nesting. And just to be obvious, the idea with nesting is we had a paragraph tag, and then within that, we had some words, but we also had a bold tag. And so whenever you nest, you can think about those, I think those famous Russian dolls, right, where you have a smaller one inside of a larger one, and then a larger one, and then a larger one. We had a bold group within a paragraph group, and that might be within another group or something. Okay, so another example where this comes up is actually with list. And so we're going to make two different kinds of list in the remainder of this video. So I'm deleting everything, saving and refreshing. Maybe I'll do an H1 here, and I'll just say my favorite movies. And I actually don't watch too many movies, but for this I'm going to try to rank my favorite movies. So first list, when we want to rank things and have them enumerated with first, second, third, and fourth, or whatever favorites, we use something called an ordered list. And that's OL, and then you just press tab, and it creates the opening and closing. Now inside of your order list, let me make a mistake first, and then I'll show you how do we fix it. So some of my favorite movies are Up, makes me cry every time. There's a wonderful comedy called Dr. Strangelove about the Cold War that makes me laugh a lot. I like Pulp Fiction. I guess I can just do 3. So you might, those are the ones that come to mind right now. So I'll save it and I'll refresh it. So the H1 tag looks like it came out correct, but this doesn't look much like an ordered list. And so in order to get this to come out like a list, I actually need to mark somehow that each one of these is a list item. And the reason why it's nesting is we're going to have list items within a larger tag, the ordered list, or the larger element, the ordered list. So to mark this as my first list item, I actually have to do left angle bracket. Let me put a space there so you can see it more easily. Left angle bracket, LI, right angle bracket. And that LI stands for list item. And now we close that, and we've got our first list item. So save it and refresh it. And now we can see that Up is by itself enumerated with number 1 as our first list item. And we'll do the same thing here. start the list item, end the second list item. Start the third list item, end the third list item. So now we've got 3 list items nested inside of an ordered list. So we save it and we refresh it, and this appears the way it should. Now, for the same thing, we're going to also look at another list. Not everything that we do is enumerated this way. So let me do an H1 here, and then I'll do classes that I teach. And I could rank these classes in terms of favorites using an ordered list, but I'd rather just rank them neutrally because I don't want to offend anyone. So if we want it just to be bullet points instead of numbers 1, 2, and 3, then we're going to be using an unordered list. So we set up our unordered list. And then nested within that, we're going to have 3 list items, or however many classes I teach actually, list items. So I'll do li tab, and that creates the start, opening and closing tags for the list item. So we'll have AP Computer Science block 3, list item, AP Computer Science block 4. Notice that each one of these list items is an element of its own. And then list item, that's just italic, we don't want that, list item, li, and then we'll have algebra 2, block 5, and then we'll have list item, physics, and I believe I teach physics, block 1. So now we save this, and we refresh it, and you can see the 2 different styles of list. So let's just see, let's be totally crazy. Let's nest let's nest a third thing inside of one of these lists just to show that kind of like you can go as as many levels deep into the HTML as you want. So this is my first time teaching physics, so I'm a little bit scared about that. So let me take physics and I'll make it bold and scary. So now I'll take physics and I put the left angle brackets, B right angle bracket, so that's the opening tag. And I just want the physics part of this to be bold, so I'll type left angle bracket / and Sublime Text auto-completes the rest of the tag. So now we have the physics element nested within the li element, the list item element, nested within the unordered list element. And let's see how that looks. So next up, we're going to do one italicized. So let's take AP CSP and make that italic. So we'll have we'll create the opening tag and then the closing tag for italic and refresh it. And now we've got the italicized element nested within the list item element, nested within the unordered list element, and we're all good. I hope you found this video interesting, and I'll see you guys in class shortly.